Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something. Why are you here? Why do you want to work out? Why do you want success? Because if you don't have a vision, if you don't have a goal, then you are drifting. And people who drift never arrive anywhere worth going. Success is not an accident. It is built, it is earned, it is created by those who know exactly what they want and are willing to fight for it every single day. So the real question is, what is your vision and how far are you willing to go to make it real? The most important thing is that you have a vision, that you have a goal, because without that vision and without that goal, again, you're drifting around. You're never going to end up anywhere. People don't become successful just by accident. Maybe the guy that found gold in California in start of the gold rush, but don't count on that. That's one in a lifetime kind of a situation. So you got to really have a specific goal. And to me, to have that vision that I want to be Mr. Universe, that I want to be the greatest bodybuilder of all time, that was a great vision. And that's specifically to look like Reg Park and to be update that stage, to lift the trophy overhead and to win the championship over and over again. So that was a great goal. You have to have a goal. It doesn't have to be that specific goal, but it has to have some goal. This is why I always recommend to people to sit down, take your time and think about it. Why do you want to work out? What is your goal? And it can be as crazy as it is. I want to impress girls if that's your goal. So be it, but it motivates you. It could be that you emulating a certain, bodybuilder or a certain football play, a certain boxer, whatever it is, have those pictures put all over the wall. Like I did when I was a kid. I got pictures of Reg Park and of Sonny Liston, of boxers and of Ali and of powerlifters and weightlifters all over my bedroom, walls. So that every day when I go to sleep, every day when I wake up, I look at that pictures and they motivate me. You need that motivation, and therefore you have that kind of imprint in front of you all the time. You know exactly what you're chasing. People always came up to me. Why are you smiling? You working out 5 hours a day. You're doing the same as the other guys, but the other guys have a sour face. They pissed to have to do another rep or another set. I look forward to another dozen of reps. I look forward to another 500 of leg raise or squat. I look forward to another curl until my arms fall off. Why? Because I know that every rep that I did and every set that I did and what weight that I lifted, I gained one step closer to turn that vision into reality. So I was turned on by that. I was excited. I couldn't wait to go to the gym. Look, I remember that when I weighted 245 pounds, and Bob Riggleson, the director of Stay Hungry, said to me that, I'm interested in coming for a reading and work on your acting because I want to having you in a movie, to start with the Jeff Bridges and Sally Fields. I was delighted about that and I was excited. I start pumping on one word, and then he said, but I don't want to weight more than 210 pounds. He want me to be in a movie, but I'm weighting to 45 to 46. I've just won the Olympia, as they say. It was 1974, and I was really at my biggest. But he demanded that. He said, look, it's very simple. On the day we start shooting, I'm going to put you on the scale, and if you don't make the 210, you are out, because I have someone else in mind, and I worked on it, that victualling myself very clearly as a lean athlete, because it was the only way I could lose that weight in the office and get interesting in running, because until the point of ran 3 miles after training or before TR, aiming or whatever, but now it was 5 miles, 6 miles, 7 miles, 8 miles, and I even ran mini marathons in order to lose that weight, and I did everything with high reps levels and watching my diet, what I eat, and all of kind of things. But the day before, I remember we won Birmingham, Alabama. The day before, I was at the YMCA with Bob Riggleson. He was swimming and I was working out and I was running. He said, boy, let's step on the scale. And I stepped on the scale and I weighed 209. So it just shows you it is possible if you visualize exactly what you want to look like. And there was no room for any kind of I can't get my act together or anything, because there is only a certain amount of time. But the key thing again is, have the clear vision, have the specific goal of what you want to accomplish, because then you never go to gym and say, today I feel down a little bit. I don't know what it is all about. I don't know my life. I'm confused. No, I'll tell you that I was a perfect example of someone that was not confident at all. I mean, when I was a kid, I was like just any other kid. I had my hang-ups and problems and orders. But when I joined the weightlifting club and I won my first little trophy, because I did the best clean jerk, and then we went to another meet and I won another little trophy, I started that feeling like somebody. But the bottom line is, everyone can use the same method, because I used it in politics, I used it in making money, I used it in everything that I've done in the movie business. When you have one little victory, little victories add up, and that is what gives you that ultimately confidence. Well, for me, the most important thing is to have a deadline. So when I, for instance, had a competition, and let's say the competition was in the middle of September and it was now beginning of summer, so there was no more time to screw around. So it was the time now to get going on a diet, to get going with the training, to not slack off at all because it was a deadline. The day of the competition, I had to be in the best shape possible, and I knew that if I come to the competition and I lose because I did not schedule my training the proper way, or I didn't have the right frame of mind, or I didn't give everything, literally broke my butt off, I would be just so angry. So I never wanted to be in that situation. This is why it was very important to pick that time and to say, this is when I have to be in top shape, then work towards that. But it's not just with the competition. I mean, there was always the same with the movie business. I mean, to me, it was always a big advantage when I say, okay, my movie starts on April 3rd and I have now 3 months. So I have to get really in great shape. So you pick those times. It could also be that you have no movie, no Mr. Olympia, no Mr. America, no Mr. Universe coming up or any of those things. But you say to yourself, the summer starts in June. I'm going to go to the beach in June. And at that time, I want to be in great shape. So that creates an urgency that makes you really start to training hard and taking it seriously. Because if you don't have a specific plan, then you wander around and you can have reserved many times the best shape of the best player in the world. But if you don't have a specific goal where you want to go and when you want to get there, you just drift around and you never get anywhere. So this is why this is important to create that urgency and the specific time when you want to be in shape. I mean, look, everyone has a problem with time, but the day has 24 hours and we sleep 6. Now, I know that some out there that say, I need 8, but I just say, just sleep a little faster, because the bottom line is we have 6 hours of sleep, 24 hours available. So 18 hours now available to your work, your family, your hobbies, and also to learn something new or to do something new, which could easily be that you want to learn a new language or that you want to read. As a US resolution, after read a book every week, but what you say, I'm going to go to reshape my body. So you're going to go and take this hour out of your schedule and say, I'm going to train an hour every day. So this is for most people a huge challenge, but it is totally doing what I can tell them. Because the kind of things that I did when I came to this country, I mean, I went to school, I was working at construction, I was working out my 5 hours a day, I was taking acting classes from 8 o'clock at night to 12 midnight. I was doing all of those things. I wanted to make sure that out of the 24 hours of the day that I didn't waste one single hour. Those hours were too precious. And I just want to tell people, don't give me the thing. I have a difficult time with the time. I don't have time for this. You have time, you make the time. The question is not whether the hours are there, but whether you are willing to claim them. Every single person on this planet has the same 24 hours. And the only difference between the ones who succeed and the ones who don't is how they use those hours. I always believe that the clock is not my enemy. The clock is my opportunity. Every tick of the second hand is a reminder that I can push myself a little harder, learn something new, improve a weakness, or build on a strength. You have to learn to look at time not as something that slips away, but as a tool in your hands. Most people waste so much of it. They sit around, they watch television, they scroll endlessly, they gossip, they daydream without ever turning those dreams into action, and then they say they don't have time. But you and I know the truth. It's not that they don't have time. It's that they don't value their time. If you respect your hours, if you treat them like gold, then every single day becomes an investment in your future. Imagine what happens when you treat just 1 hour a day as sacred, non-negotiable, the hour where you commit to your body, your mind, your goal. That hour becomes the seed that grows into a forest of achievements. When I was building myself up, I understood that discipline with time was just as important as discipline with the weights. It doesn't matter how heavy you can lift if you can't control yourself outside the gym. You must structure your day. You must decide what matters and then protect that with every ounce of energy you have. Because here is the truth. Nobody is going to hand you success. Nobody is going to carve out the time for you. Nobody is going to force you to become great. That's on you. And once you start respecting your own time, people around you will respect it too. They will see that you are serious, that you are on a mission, that you have no interest in wasting hours on meaningless distractions. And some will laugh, some will doubt, some will even try to pull you back down because your commitment makes them uncomfortable about their own laziness. But you cannot listen to them. You cannot let the negativity of others determine your path. If anything, their doubt should fuel you, because nothing is more satisfying than proving the world wrong by quietly, steadily, relentlessly turning turning your vision into reality. This is why you must build habits that carry you forward even when your emotions are low. You cannot rely on feeling motivated every day. There will be mornings when you don't want to get out of bed. There will be nights when you want to skip the gym, when you want to eat junk, when you want to take the easy way out. That is when the habit, the routine, the structure saves you. Success is never built on a single burst of inspiration. It is built brick by brick, set after set, rep after rep, day after day of showing up no matter what. You must understand that greatness is not about extraordinary talent alone. It's about consistency. It's about the little things you do when nobody is watching, when you are alone, when the gym is empty, when the spotlight is not on you. That is when champions are created. Because when the lights finally do turn on, when the crowd is finally there, you don't rise to the occasion. You fall back on your training. You fall back on the work you have already put in. If you have done the work, you will shine. If you have cut corners, you will crumble. So never cut corners, never cheat yourself. Every rep counts, every step counts, every hour counts. You might think one skipped workout doesn't matter, but it does, because it sets a precedent. It tells your mind that excuses are acceptable. But if you fight that temptation and push through, then the opposite happens. You build mental toughness, you build resilience, you build the kind of character that will serve you in every area of life. I always believe that the gym is a training ground, not only for the body but also for the mind. When you learn to endure the pain of the last rep, when you learn to breathe through the burn and push for one more, you are teaching yourself how to handle every challenge in life. You are teaching yourself that discomfort is not the enemy, it is the path. Growth never comes without struggle. Muscles don't grow without resistance. Confidence doesn't grow without setbacks. Success doesn't grow without failure. Failure is part of the process. So many people quit after their first defeat because they see it as the end. But failure is not the opposite of success. It is a step toward it. Every time you fall short, you learn something. You discover a weakness. You discover a mistake. You discover a way you can improve. And if you have the courage to get back up, to adjust, to keep moving forward, you will find that failure is the best teacher you could ever have. And this is why I tell people, don't be afraid of looking foolish. Don't be afraid of starting small. Don't be afraid of being the weakest one in the gym or the slowest runner on the track or the last person in the class. Everyone starts somewhere. What matters is not where you start, but where you are willing to go. Too many people let their ego stop them from even beginning because they don't want to be seen as a beginner. But the truth is, every master was once a beginner. Every champion was once the person struggling with the basics. So embrace the struggle. Celebrate the small victories, because small victories, as I said, add up. They stack on each other until one day you look back and realize that the person you have become is unrecognizable compared to the person who started. That is the reward. Not just the trophy, not just the applause, not just the recognition, but the transformation of who you are. That is something nobody can ever take away from you, and you must keep renewing that vision. Once you reach one goal, you don't stop. You set another. You keep challenging yourself, because the human spirit is meant to grow, not to stagnate. If you stop pushing, if you stop learning, if you stop striving, you will start shrinking. Life is motion, and progress is the fuel that keeps you alive inside. The moment you stop having goals, you stop having purpose, and without purpose, life becomes empty. So ask yourself, what is your next goal? What is your vision for the next year, the next 5 years, the next 10 years? Don't just think about your body, think about your career, your relationships, your contribution to the world, because success in one area can fuel success in another. The discipline you build in the gym will give you the confidence to take risks in business. The focus you develop in your studies will give you the clarity to improve your health. The resilience you learn in sports will give you the strength to handle life's setbacks. Everything connects. That is why I always tell people, don't live a small life. Don't settle for being average. Don't let the opinions of others box you out. And if you have a dream, no matter how impossible it seems, chase it. People will say you can't do it, that it's unrealistic, that it's foolish. But the truth is, the world has always been changed by people who refuse to listen to those voices. If you want something and you are willing to pay the price in sweat, in effort, in discipline, then you have the right to go after it. And never forget to enjoy the process. Too many people live only for the destination, for the trophy, for the moment of glory. But those moments are brief. What lasts is the journey, the friendships you make in the gym, the lessons you learn about yourself, the satisfaction of knowing you gave your best effort day after day. If you don't learn to love the grind, you will never last long enough to taste true success. But if you can fall in love with the work, then success will chase you. Every day you have the chance to make progress. It doesn't matter if it's a small step, progress is progress. And the compound effect of daily progress is extraordinary. People underestimate what they can do in a year if they commit to a vision. They overestimate what they can do in a week, but they underestimate what they can do in a year. Imagine where you could be 12 months from now if you stopped making excuses and started making moves today. Imagine the body you could build, the skills you could learn, the confidence you could develop. It is all within reach, but only if you decide to act. So act now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when it's convenient. Because the truth is, it will never be convenient. There will always be obstacles, there will always be excuses, there will always be reasons to wait. But greatness doesn't wait, opportunity doesn't wait, time doesn't wait. If you don't seize it, it slips away, and once it's gone, you can never get it back. If you don't seize it, it slips away, and once it's gone, you can never get it back. The world rewards those with us. Who move, who take action, who step forward even when they are uncertain. You don't need to see the whole staircase to take the first step. You just need enough courage to put one foot in front of the other. Too many people wait for the perfect time, the perfect plan, the perfect condition. But perfection is an illusion. If you wait for perfection, you will wait forever. The winners are not the ones who wait, they are the ones who start, who adjust along the way, who learn by doing. When you commit to action, momentum builds. Momentum is the most powerful force you can create in your own life. At first, progress is slow. You push, you grind, and sometimes it feels like nothing is happening. But then, little by little, the results begin to show. The weight feels lighter, the body feels stronger, the mind feels sharper. People start to notice. You start to notice, and that small spark becomes a fire. That fire fuels you to keep going, and soon it is no longer about discipline alone. It is about desire. You begin to crave the challenge, to crave the growth, to crave the process of becoming better. And once you taste progress, you never want to go back. That is why it is so important to start, because the hardest part is always the beginning. But once you cross that threshold, your own results will become your motivation. You don't need someone to remind you. You don't need a pep talk. You don't need external validation. You see the change in yourself, and that becomes the fuel. That is the power of transformation, that it makes you hungry for more. But you cannot let yourself get complacent. The moment you think you have made it, the moment you stop pushing, you start sliding backward. There is no standing still in life. You are either moving forward or moving backward. That is why you must stay humble, stay hungry, stay willing to work as if you are still chasing your first victory, even after you've already won. Because true greatness is not about one achievement. It is about sustaining excellence over time. Sustaining excellence requires constant adaptation. Life is not static. Circumstances change. Your body changes. Opportunities change. Challenges change. What worked yesterday may not work tomorrow. So you must be flexible in your strategies while being unshakable in your vision. The goal stays the same, but the path can adjust. You have to be willing to learn, to evolve, to try new methods, to embrace change rather than resist it. The ones who survive and thrive are the ones who adapt the fastest. And don't forget that your journey is not only about you. People are watching, even when you don't realize it. A younger brother, a child, a friend, a colleague, they see your effort, your dedication, your discipline. Without you even knowing, you are inspiring them, giving them permission to chase their own goals. When you push yourself to a higher standard, you raise the standard for everyone around you. That is leadership, and it doesn't require a title or a stage. It requires action, consistency, and example. You have to understand that leadership starts with self-leadership. How can you expect others to follow you if you cannot even command yourself? The discipline to get up on time, the discipline to train when you're tired, the discipline to keep going when nobody else cares, that is the foundation of real leadership. And when you prove to yourself that you can lead your own life, then others will naturally look to you for guidance. That is when your impact goes beyond your own goals, beyond your own success, and begins to multiply through others. But none of that is possible if you give in to excuses. Excuses are the enemy of progress. They sound reasonable, they sound comforting, they sound like protection. But in reality, they are chains. Every time you use an excuse, you are reinforcing weakness. You are choosing comfort over growth. You are letting your slip away to protect your present laziness. Excuses build nothing. Excuses destroy potential. You must become ruthless in cutting them out of your life. Don't even allow the language of excuses to live in your mind. Replace it with the language of responsibility. Say to yourself, if it is to be, it's up to me. Responsibility is power. The moment you stop blaming circumstances, the moment you stop blaming others, the moment you stop blaming luck, you take back control. You realize that even if you cannot control everything that happens to you, you can always control how you respond. That shift in mindset is what separates those who succeed from those who stagnate. The victims ask, why me? The victors ask, what now? And then they act. And make no mistake, action will demand sacrifice. If you want to stand out, you cannot live like everyone else. While others party, you will train. While others sleep, you will study. While others complain, you will execute. That sacrifice may feel heavy in the moment, but compared to the regret of wasted potential, it is nothing. Regret is heavier than any weight you will ever lift. Don't carry that weight. Choose the lighter load of discipline now so that you don't suffer the crushing weight of regret later. The beautiful thing about sacrifice is that it eventually transforms into joy. The very things you once saw as hard, the things you once resisted, become the things you look forward to. You crave the discipline, you crave the sweat, you crave the struggle because you know what it creates. You no longer see it as a sacrifice, but as a privilege. The privilege to grow, the privilege to chase a dream, the privilege to live with passion. And in this journey, gratitude is a powerful ally. Gratitude turns what you have into enough, and it keeps you grounded even as you climb higher. Be grateful for your health, for your opportunities, for your challenges, because every challenge is a chance to grow stronger. Gratitude fuels resilience. When you are thankful for the struggle, you no longer resent it, you embrace it. You understand that the very obstacles in your way are shaping you into the person capable of handling your vision. At the same time, be patient with yourself. Progress takes time. The world we live in is obsessed with quick results, with instant gratification, with shortcuts. But there are no shortcuts to greatness. You cannot microwave success. You cannot skip the grind. Every meaningful achievement requires time, effort, persistence. Patience is not passive. Patience is active endurance, the willingness to keep working even when the results are not immediate. If you stay consistent, the results will come, and when they come, they will be worth every second of the wait. And remember that success is not a straight line. It is messy. It is filled with setbacks, detours, unexpected turns. Sometimes you will question yourself. Sometimes you will wonder if it is all worth it. That is natural. But those moments are the test. If you can keep moving forward in the face of doubt, then you are building the kind of resilience that no obstacle can break. The easy road never builds strong people. The hard road does. Embrace the hard road. The hard road will take you to places you never imagined. It will reveal strengths you didn't know you had. It will show you that you are capable of so much more than you thought. Most people never discover their true potential because they never push themselves far enough to find it. Don't be like most people. Push until you find your limits, and then push beyond them. That is where growth lives. That is where greatness is forged. So when the alarm goes off, get up. When the weight feels heavy, lift it. When the run feels long, finish it. When the work feels endless, complete it. Do it not because it's easy, but because it's hard. Do it because each act of discipline is a declaration to yourself and to the world. I will not be average. I will not waste my time. I will not settle. I am here to build, to grow, to push, to live at the highest level possible.